Thank you. And thank you for everything.
Get in there to that.
Okay. Get it closer. I'm not a big speaker. I'll try to be. All right. You've answered so many other things already, which is great. They're helping me. And of course, I love what you do, as we all do. But my question is, my mother passed away 2 years ago, this same day. And what was exciting about that for me is able to help her cross over.
You were able to witness her cross over. You didn't have to help her. Her momentum was there.
But let me explain.
Yeah.
Because she sat between my sister and I, and I'm open to this. Just give me clarity. That's what I'm looking for.
We just did.
Okay. Thank you. But may I just add this?
Of course.
Oh, thank you. She asked, will I go up or will I go down?
Downstream.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, she wasn't, she was almost 95. She wasn't into this.
Down? I'm going down? Humans are weird. Humans are so weird.
Well, religion plays a large part of that, and I know that. And thankfully, my sister said, Mom, you're too good to go any other way but up. So, which helped her relax. But she also mentioned about getting stuck, and this is where I'm going with this. Tell me if I'm doing this. I'm helping spirits get to the other side that are stuck here in the earth plane.
No.
Why am I getting the messages to do this? Why am I getting guided? I feel like even on the trip down here, I'm driving the car. I see the sunlight. I'm helping them go. I'm getting spirits to help me do this. And I'm led to do this. What is that?
Well, there are a handful of flawed premises in what you said here. In other words, when you said, my mother passed away, no, she didn't. She just,
right, well, I know that. Yeah.
Well, then say it the way you know it.
Okay.
Or,
I know that. I was saying for her.
Well, we know, but that's how myths are perpetuated.
Right.
Be better if you said, my mother, in a misunderstanding of what was happening, was thinking that she was passing away. Little did she know that she was just becoming the all that she is.
That's better?
In other words, that's way better.
Yeah.
And
well, I'm saying it is better. I'm agreeing with you, and it didn't come out the way I meant it.
We've noticed that.
Yes. It's my turn now. I'm going to get abused here. No, I'm just teasing.
You asked for clarification.
I did, and I'm getting it. So what is that? Why do I feel like I'm still needing to move spirits on? I feel great doing it. I feel like I'm helping people and taking spirits off of people. Maybe it's just negative energy. Maybe it's their own stuff, possibly.
Here's the misunderstanding. So we were talking about path of least resistance, and you get the sense of that path of least resistance. And when someone is making their transition, there is a tremendous amount of momentum that is calling them. But sometimes there is a hesitation that is the reason for the timing of things. It's a very common thing for someone to be ready to make their transition, but there's a room full of people who don't want them to go. And so they sort of hang around in their attention to others. And so it can be helpful if there is someone saying deliberately and really meaning, really rooting for the path of least resistance. This gives us an opportunity to point out something to all of you that could be helpful between you and your friends, even apart from this, what you call death experience. Wouldn't it be nice if you could stand in a place where you always mean for those who are around you, for those that you love, that they would follow their path of least resistance, and that you would really mean for them to leave you out of the equation and to always follow the path that is best for them? Isn't that just such a lovely thought? But most people aren't doing that, especially relative to that. They're saying, don't go, don't leave me. And as you implied with your very brief comment about religion, there are a lot of things that sort of bind you up in all of that. So what we're saying about you is the same thing that we would say about us, in that no one needs any of this information from any of us in order for their lives to play out just as they have intended. Everyone is an extension of source energy. Everyone has an inner being who is calling them. Everyone has a path of least resistance, and everyone in physical form will ultimately reemerge into non-physical. And not one of you needs someone else in physical form to root you on, because every one of you has an inner being who's taking care of business, you see. But the reason that we visit with our physical friends, and the reason that you feel like you're helping in those ways, is because sometimes in your physical form you are not in the receptive mode. You're not translating the vibration as easily, and it is nice to have someone who's receiving the vibration and knowing it, sort of amplifying it in a way that sometimes it is easier to hear than others. But this is the bottom line in all of this. If someone is not in the receptive mode, so they are not hearing their own inner being's guidance, they're not going to get it from you either. Because the receptive mode is the receptive mode, and not being in the receptive mode. And just because somebody can hear something with their ears, as you've witnessed already here today, in other words, we're not able to talk anybody into alignment either.
I understand that. I understand that. That's good. But further on this journey of mine, my mom was actually able to speak to spirits in this dying process, or in this transitional process. Yes. I'm going to go physical to non-physical.
Yes.
And she was able to hear. Her hearing was really bad, but she could hear, she could see these people, and she was keeping me awake all night long, because I climbed in bed with her finally. I said, "Mom, what are you seeing? Tell me about it." A man was stealing her purse, so I helped him. And this is a ghost, man. We're speaking spirit here. Out. A woman came in. She was going to get Mom's purse. I said, out. And so sent them out, and I sent them with love. But also she saw cats. She saw babies.
We are not saying that your mother was not making a transition and that she was not translating vibration into images. Of course she was. Of course you are all doing that all of the time. We are just not going to encourage the thought that there are people who have made their transition who are stuck in the process. It just isn't true. Now, there's plenty of a spin-off of man's conscious thought. There are plenty of vibrations that can be translated, but what you are explaining happened did not happen. Let us say that better. What you are explaining happened is not the way you were explaining it.
Okay, that's a possibility.
No one's stuck. No one's stuck. No one's stuck.
Okay.
No one's
stuck.
I've heard no one's stuck. 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 But when someone's getting ready to make their transition, they're releasing all kinds of resistance, and you might be translating some of the resistance that they are releasing.
Now, just to argue the point a little bit more is that there are mediums out there who are experiencing this.
Of course.
Also.
Of course, because there are all kinds of translators of all kinds of vibrations. We're just telling you that nobody that's moving into non-physical, no one who's returning to the inner being that is them, is stuck. That momentum is so strong.
Then how do people haunt places? How does poltergeist? And that's what I'm kind of in that realm, and I know that's slower than you want to go with.
So let's go back to the tree in the forest thing. Someone is translating the vibration into the reality that they are expressing. As Esther is receiving the vibration of Abraham, she's speaking it into words. If she were in some other vibrational place, she could be receiving vibrations of thought forms and speaking it into a reality. In other words, it's a translation of something. We're just telling you what it's not. You can figure out what it is. We're just telling you what it's not. Because no one in non-physical is stuck. This is a flawed premise. This is a delusion that humans apply to what is non-physical based upon what they've been doing in their physical form.
Okay, then I'm going to jump from that subject because I need to go somewhere else.
Because we are stubbornly not going to encourage you in a flawed premise.
And I am so stubbornly unable to get just right now. And I'll work on that. I'm going to work on that. But
we're not saying you're not having an experience.
Yeah.
We're just telling you what the experience isn't. It's not souls stuck. Souls don't get stuck. No one ever gets stuck. The momentum of non-physical is powerful. This is source energy calling you home. And once someone has released this physical body, they are moving into that energy. Moving into that energy.
So, and I'm not going to beat that subject to death, but
All right,
when I
let's move
walked
on.
into this hotel, and I don't want to blame Esther for this, but when I walked in this hotel, I got very nauseous and in the stomach area. So I'm clearing whatever negative energy might have hit me. And it worked. And let it go.
Here's
Help
the
me
thing.
with that.
That would be like saying, I got into my car and I heard the most obnoxious song on the radio. Because that's where my tuner was set.
Okay, that helps. That gets me to where I'm at then.
And so in your belief
Okay.
that is so. Years ago, Jerry and Esther were driving new to San Antonio. And they were driving through a part of town that they were not familiar with. And Esther heard someone say, cheerfully and frivolously, I'm dead.
Oh.
And Esther turned to Jerry and said, what? And he said, I didn't say anything. And Esther said, someone just said, I'm dead. And Jerry began to laugh because they were passing through a small street with a family graveyard. And so Esther said, what was that? And we said, thought forms. We didn't say some soul stuck. We didn't say someone who meant to make their transition and didn't. It's the thought form that is, because when you focus upon something for as little as 17 seconds, there is enough attraction that another thought like it joins it. And another 17 seconds, another thought like it joins it. So a woman was talking to us some years ago about traveling in San Francisco. She said, Abraham, recently, as I'm going across these long bridges, I am finding myself terrified. She said, I want to lie on the floor of the car. It is so frightening to me. What's happened? I've been here for years and haven't been like this. And we said, well, you're probably picking up on thought forms, which she did not like the idea of. And then we said to her, what's going on? Because the thought forms have been there. Thought forms are everywhere. Everyone who is thinking thoughts is translating them, bringing them forward, and they are staying where they are leaving them. Law of attraction is gathering them together so that someone in the vicinity is able to pick them up. We said the question isn't, are there thought forms? The question is, why are you picking up on this thought form? Why are you now picking up on this fearful thought form? And she said, I know why. She said, my neighbor was burglarized, and I've been attending these meetings, neighborhood watch meetings, about whether we should put up barricades or whether we should put bars on our windows or whether we should hire a night watchman. And so she had activated through her fearful participation in these vulnerable feeling meetings a vibration that was not natural to her, not normal to her. And now she's in the vicinity of something on that bridge that she had never picked up on before. And because she was in the receptive mode of that. So you're not doing anything wrong, and we're not talking about higher and lower vibrations or good or bad vibrations. We just want you to understand that the receptive mode is the receptive mode, and what you're picking up on is what you're tuned to. And we just want you to understand that, of course, you can visit with your mother. You could clearly translate anyone who is non-physical. You do those kinds of things all the time. Just don't walk into a library of vibration and just take the first book off the shelf. Go in there with some determination. Go in there with some deliberate vibration. Receive the vibration that you mean to receive. Don't just be an open book. The sheriff of the county where Jerry and Esther moved to near San Antonio called one day and said, I hear you are a psychic. And Esther said, that's really not a good label for me. I translate vibration, but I am clearly not a psychic. And he said, well, I've heard that you are, and I've heard that you're good, and I need you to help me in the solving of a case. And Esther said, I really not even going to tell you that I would like to help you, because I don't want to help you, because I don't want to have to tune into the frequency to be of any value to you. I don't want to tune into that. That's not what my work is. My work is a higher vibration, and so is yours.
Well, that's what I needed to hear too. But don't clap yet.